Mining giant BHP Billiton's flagging a more cautious approach, with customers facing tougher credit conditions. Chief Executive Marius Kloppers told shareholders at the group's annual general meeting in Melbourne that the heightened volatility and uncertain outlook was weighing on commodity markets. It was just one of many and varied issues raised at what turned out to be a very long meeting. Emily Stewart reports.
In the midst of a mining boom, some shareholders are not so worried about returns, but focused on the big picture.
Uranium, climate change and peak oil are the frightening issues that really a lot of older long-term type shareholders, not the share trader types, are getting interested in, because we're starting to worry about our children and our grandchildren.
Surely they can make enough money out of mining every other mineral, but uranium needs to be in the ground.
This group of people have travelled from the Northern Territory, South Australia and Western Australia to attend BHP's annual general meeting today. Around 30 of them have proxy votes, and they'll be asking the board some questions about environmental and social concerns. And those issues dominated today's meeting, taking up around 2.5 hours of question time. But BHP says it's not contemplating changing its portfolio, and added it's the government's role to regulate the sale of uranium.
Energy has lifted people out of poverty and has given people life and longevity. That is very, very real. But all of the energy sources have got issues with them, either carbon or radiation and so on. So the world will continue to make choices.
On Monday, the company approved spending $1.2 billion on the first phase of the expansion of the Olympic Dam project, which mines copper, gold and uranium. BHP Chairman Jac Nasser says the project's been through a 6-year exhaustive review.
The board has confidence that if all of the assumptions and parameters that we've reviewed stay in the same place, then and we get total approval, then the board will have all of the data that they need to be able to proceed.
The board also faced challenging questions from employees. Renee Hughes and her family live in the mining region of the Bowen Basin in Queensland. Her husband has worked at BHP for 5 years, but she says inflated prices mean rents are high, food is expensive and infrastructure is overcrowded.
We have no issue with the fly in, fly out, the drive and drive out workers, but they need to provide services to cater for our growing town.
The board says BHP Billiton pays more than $900 million in royalties to the Queensland government, which should be enough to upgrade services. When attention turned to the business of mining, Marius Kloppers told the meeting global market uncertainty and price volatility will weigh on commodity markets until Europe's sovereign debt issues are addressed. But in the long term, he believes the outlook is positive.
Far from a short-lived phenomenon or a routine boom in commodities, we are in the early stages of a structural shift in the global economy that will last for many decades.
Over the next 5 years, the company plans to push on to acquire some more strategic assets, despite recent expensive failures, as well as investing more than $80 billion on its mining and petroleum assets.